Hello and welcome to the weekly wrap video. Just a couple of things to catch you up on from the past 5 trading sessions. Then it's been a bad week for equity markets as the S&P 500 in the US trades at 2014 lows well ahead of the close on Friday, given a big pullback on risk across the global asset classes, but specifically in the emerging markets, as the Turkish lira, the South African rand, the Brazilian real and specifically the Argentinian peso come under very heavy selling pressure, with the Turkish lira printing at record lows against the dollar on each consecutive day throughout the week. Now this is on liquidity concerns as a number of macro events and themes appear to be shifting across the global asset classes. So this comes in towards next week's FOMC meeting, where expectations are for the Fed once more to decide to pull another $10 billion from the QE taper, bringing down those monthly purchases from $75 to $65 billion. And elsewhere in the UK, we had an unemployment rate this week contracting dramatically to 7.1% from 7.4%, so marking a big decline there and closer to that 7.0% threshold, which the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney has been forced to say is just a threshold and not a trigger. They're likely to give us some further clarity on guidance at the February quarterly inflation report. And then elsewhere this week we have the Swiss National Bank also taking some action to cool their housing market, placing some macro-prudential tools in the works to slow down mortgage lending specifically, which has strengthened the Swiss franc. So elsewhere this week though, much of the emerging market concern coming from South America, with the Argentinian central bank deciding to cease backing up the Argentinian peso, resulting in a decline of the peso against the dollar of around 18% in Thursday's session alone. So that's caused a bit of a flight of fear across the global asset classes as we've headed in towards the close on Friday. Elsewhere though, the earnings in the US continue to be somewhat lackluster, as EPS numbers do have the tendency to beat, but revenues still generally softer than forecast. So we'll see how that pans out next week as we progress into tech titan Apple's earnings due next week alongside the FOMC meeting, where all eyes are on Janet Yellen to see if this Fed QE taper will indeed be a monthly process. But in the meantime, that's all from me. I hope you had a great week, but I hope you have an even better weekend. And we'll see you again on Monday to get you briefed for next week's trading sessions.